Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone, and good morning, Ma'am Erlita. So today we from Group 5 will present about colonialism, imperialism, and the spread of English. So 2 weeks ago, we have already seen how during earlier period Britain was effectively a trilingual nation with its English, French, and Latin having varying degrees of status and being used in particular areas of life. This was in addition to the numerous Celtic and Gaelic languages, example Cornish and Welsh, that would also have been spoken in various parts of the country. So idea that language belong to the countries, which is English is the language of England, French the language of France, etc., is a popular misconception indeed. English now extends far beyond England and is generally considered to be a global language. It was in early modern period that the spread of English overseas began. This was as a result of colonization, whereby British communities was established beyond the British Isles. These colonies were under the political control of Britain and constituted part of the British Empire. So today we will talk about number one is English in the New World, and the second one is the expansion of the British Empire. For English in the New World will presented by my friend, please.
Okay, so hello, Ma'am Erlita, and also all the friends that watch this. Okay, so I am Clarissa Sagita Crisante, and you could just simply call me Gita. And today I would like to present about the English in the New World. Okay, so here's with me, Gita. So basically, the English in the New World had made a number of attempts to found the colonies in America. So basically, this has happened in the late of 1500s and early 1600s, and that with the settlements in Newfoundland and in what was later to become a North Carolina, that early attempts turned into a failed mission. So it was not exist until 1607, and that a lasting colony was established in some places like Jamestown, Virginia, and also on the east coast of America. Yes. And then hang on right there. Okay, so it goes next like in 1620, a further colony was established, like what I have said before, in some places, such as like Plymouth, which now called like a Massachusetts, and also the Puritan settlers who later become known as the Pilgrim Fathers, which arrived on the ship and has a mission to fleeing religious persecution in England. Okay, so these early settlers turns out inevitably brought their own varieties of English into the New World. Okay, and then at 1732, which there are some 13 British colonies, had been established along the east coast of America. But actually, turns out that British is not the only one in the country though. So there are also the other countries like the French, like the Spanish, which has settled in Florida, and also there's the Dutch and some other countries. So, so in addition to settlers from Spain, France, and Netherlands, and also England, there were also another immigrants from Ireland, Scotland, and Germany. So in 1619, there are also a report where there was also a rapidly increasing number of Black Africans that slaves brought to the colonies, that initially to work on a tobacco plantation. So that presence of the people from a multitude backgrounds meant and led into the colonies that was a great places of linguistic diversity. And it is concluded that it was so easy to imagine that new varieties of English emerging, emerging from the cultural mix. That's all from me. So the rest of the English in the New World could be presented of my friends. Thank you.
Okay, the next is in 1763, Britain had become the largest colonial power in the world. And in this year, following a series of bloody conflicts, England seized a control of Canada and the land east of Florida, land east of the Mississippi River as well as Florida, which Spain relinquished in exchange for Cuba and the Philippines. And then, because of the expansion of their American empire, the British quickly found it necessary to reform their colonial system. In order to streamline the process of providing effective government and defense. And then, and then the measures that were taken in pursuit of this goal, uh, including increases in taxation and custom duties, there were factors. Wait, there were factors that contributed to the outbreak of the American Revolution or the War of Independence in 1775 and till 1783. And then, in 1783, the war ended, and Treaty of Paris recognized the independence of the United States. And then, the first US President, George Washington, take, took office in 1789. And then, new forms of English integrated by a lot of people. Either moves were also made. I'm sorry, we have seen how powerful language can be in creating identities, both for individuals and for countries. In the USA, integration of people from a wide range of backgrounds inevitably led to new forms of English. But moves were also made to actively develop a variety of English that was distinct from the standard form that was emerging in England, and that would demonstrate the uniquely American character of English in the US, which would inevitably form some part for identity of the new country. And then what Samuel Johnson had done for the English and Noah Webster in America. But in this case, Webster was born in 1758 and educated at Yale College in 1778 and published an American dictionary in 1828. In 1828, Webster published an American dictionary of the English language which contained around 700 entries. Webster's dictionary had a major influence on American spelling and pronunciation, but perhaps more importantly, it played a significant role in establishing a linguistic identity for American English. And the next will be presented by my friend.
All right. So we move to the expansion of the British Empire. Next, please. Yeah. Britain had lost its American colonies in the American War of Independence, but it had done nothing to reduce the status of English as America's unofficial national language. Next. Yeah. The British position in India had come about as a result of the formation of the British East India Company in 1600 for the purposes of trade. The British initially established settlements in the Indian cities of Kolkata, Mumbai, and Chennai, and ultimately India came under British control. British rule in India, called Raj, which is derived from India, called Raj, which is derived from the Hindi word for rule, began in 1765 and lasted until 1947, during which time English was established as the language of administration and education. As the British Empire expanded, English also became the official language of administration and government in such places as Malaysia, Singapore, and Hong Kong. They are also established in South Africa, East Africa, West Africa by British colonies. There are also emergent language variety. There are also emergent language varieties which sociolinguistics called pidgins. A pidgin is a language that arises when two or more different speech communities use their respective languages as the basis for a very basic language with a limited set of functions. And the next section will be presented by my friend.
Okay, so the British Empire, the colonization of British Empire also reached to Australia and New Zealand. And as a result, English language was also found in Australia and New Zealand. At the case of Australia, the English language arrived in 1788 due to the British established a penal colony in Sydney. And then in 1840, the settlement by British was occurred in New Zealand. But New Zealand was settled as a free colony and attracted immigrants from southern England and from Scotland, in contrast with Australia, who have been colonized by the British Empire. And because of this colonization, the immigrant dialects would have mixed. So consequently, new pronunciations and new vocabulary would have been emerged over time. Next, please. On the right. Okay. There would also have been certain amount of contact between the immigrants and also the indigenous populations in Australia and New Zealand, which is Aboriginal Australians in Australia and Maori from New Zealand. But because of the different lifestyle between the settlers and the immigrants, and also often happen a racist attitude prevailed among the immigrants, the caused limited contact between the culture, and consequently, only small number of words from indigenous language of Australia and New Zealand were borrowed into English. Next, and then by the beginning of 19th century, the British Empire still expand. So as a result, English had spread across the world. And furthermore, the spread of English continued throughout the 20th century and into the 21st. But the mechanism that make English into global language was not because of colonization, but it is because of the combination of technology, economics, and politics. And that's all of presentation by Group 5. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.